Hello, and this is my vlog 3 on skills and capacities. First, going to take a look at a skills or a motor control issue with a judo athlete doing a sumo deadlift. This athlete's at this point in time was sort of just about 6 months post ACL, MCL, and meniscus surgery, just getting it back into a lifting off the floor, using a wider stance to improve some of her adductor strength in this period of time as well. You can see here from the first few reps that she's done that the skill control issue just comes about because she doesn't have the flow or the sequencing of the movement. Tends to have sort of that knee extension, leg extension movement, and then a hinge to get the bar up, and then an overextension at the back. The athlete's done this exercise previously over a few years ago, so doesn't have the historical relationship with the motor pattern so much, and a lot of her lifting previously had been sort of from a hang position rather than too much off the floor, or it had been more of a traditional deadlift or a heavy implement lifting off the floor. And you can just see as you watch through just the in-sequencing that she has. Part of this comes from sort of the major surgery that she's had and the motor control issues associated with the hip and knee joint around the issues that she's had and the rehab that she's had to come back through as well before getting into some of these bigger movements off the floor as well. Tried also with her then putting a bit of load on to see whether that would change the pattern at all, whether it gets some sort of bit more central drive. But it still seems that there's just inconsistency between reps that you can see. So it's just a skill capacity or skill issue that she's got in having the control and the consistency of hitting those particular key points throughout the movement. So you can see from the next couple of things, it's not a strength issue with her. It's not a capacity of that she has, because the slides coming up, or the videos coming up, show that she's fully capable to do a front squat. This is a body weight squat load for her. We limited the range a little bit because of the damage that she had to the knee after the surgery, but you can still see she hits a good range and moving the load quite comfortably as well. And the next clip also shows that from a pattern of lifting from the floor and a trap bar at 70 kilos, she can still move the load quite comfortably. She could go heavier than that. So the capacity is not the issue. It's more the skill of having the bar in front of her and just controlling those leg movements. So next we'll look at a capacity issue for another athlete that I work with who's a sprinter. And it'll probably be quite clear from the first couple of movements that he does where the major capacity issue that he has is. And it's obviously overhead through his thoracic and shoulder mobility, which has been a bit of a problem for him for a while. When we come to the side view, it becomes highly evident of just how far in front of his head the medicine ball is, and his arms as well. He's just not able to get his arms directly vertically over his head to hold that tall posture. So one of the things that this limitation is in his capacity is just trying to increase his thoracic range. And you can see that even as we slow down some of this coming through here, you can see that the capacity of his thoracic spine and shoulders causes also that sort of little hip flexion movement and the side flexion, lateral flexion that he has to get over the hurdles. And yes, the hurdle may be slightly high for him, but there's still that issue that he flexes laterally to try and get that leg up and over as a consequence of that upper thoracic rounding, arms held out in front of the body and not able to hold that tall posture to get over. And you can see he sort of bounces up a little bit to try and get that extra range as well. That's causing this capacity limitation that he has, and then suboptimal movement patterns, trying to get the extra range of motion to come from somewhere else. And you can see when this, it's a bit dark, but the slow motion of him out of the blocks, and you can see his upper thoracic posture and spinal posture is not great. Even his arm swing doesn't get the range in his arm swing to increase that horizontal propulsion from it all. So that's the capacity issue with him, not allowing that full extension of the body to drive forward. So thanks for watching. That's my take on some skills and capacities with some athletes that I've got, and I thank them for having those capacity limitations.